All right, folks, welcome to very phlegmy Clueless Drinker, and it's another episode, very long overdue episode. I have done them like every now and then whilst doing a film review. My God, beer review, and then a little bit extra at the end, food related. But I'm not sure what number this would actually technically be. But we've got another episode of Clueless Eats. And I've already done it because I wanted to save you the tedium of me just warming this up. Because that's essentially what you're doing when you're cooking something like this. Thank God for air fryers though. So I've been seeing this stuff in the co-op for a little while now. I think you can get, isn't there like chicken wings? There's like mozzarella sticks, I think, which, who the hell likes mozzarella sticks, really? And these, onion rings. Local co-op, well, nationwide co-op, because it's a collaboration with Goose Island. And yeah, the reason why I've got the bag like this, learnt this off Justina, because I've been getting really into food-related YouTubers, or food tubers, I don't know what you call them. I think it's cringe that we call ourselves beer tubers, to be fair. And basically, when you open it, cut yourself out a nice sort of, doesn't have to be perfectly square like this, which it isn't, and it just keeps focusing on the face. Cut some little handles, and then all you need to do, and you can double tie it if you want to, which can sometimes be a pain in the arse when you're trying to open it. But yeah, there we go. So I've only done a few because I've already had something to eat. But I do have a beer to hand. Unfortunately, I don't have the Medway Pale Ale or IPA. Can't remember if it's Pale Ale. Can't remember if it's IPA. Can't remember if it's the Medway that they've used. But it's basically IPA Pale Ale battered onion rings. Couldn't find the beer that they've used. Do a bit of comparison. And I've done not even the next best things. I've just shot a review of this, the rhubarb and custard pale. But if it's made using beer, then we've got to do it with beer, haven't we? Although what I will say is, like beer battered fish and chips, blah 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 blah. To me, 9 times out of 10 doesn't really add anything, and it just, you might as well just use sparkling water a lot of the time. I personally think, and I do this a lot, whenever I'm cooking, I do like to have a beer while I'm cooking. So I think a lot of the time when people suggest, oh, let's do beer battered X, Y, and Z, they just suggest that because they want to have a couple of beers while they cook. So we shall see if we can actually detect any sort of like hoppiness or anything like that with these. Like I said, only done a few. Got them on this beautifully presented. I've got a couple of shards in there. I said shard. There we go. It's kind of focusing. Probably a little bit overdone. And I've already had some of these when I first picked them up. But I can't really remember what I thought of them, to be honest. But what I will say is, I know already they're like proper onion rings where it's like circles of onion. See, I hate that when you bite into an onion ring and the onion comes out of the batter. There's the texture of onions on their own when they've been cooked. Ugh, I can't do it. Just can't do it. If it's like raw as a garnish on a burger or something, I'm absolutely fine, but I will opt for red onions. See, I like my onion rings to be those processed, like mushed circles or cylinders of onion, as opposed to actual proper onion rings. But I've just done a few. Might be a little bit overdone, but hey ho, it is what it is. And I've picked the thinnest ones because I don't like chunky onion rings. So that's one of them. It's cooked nicely in the air fryer, I think. Hello. Just smells like batter and onions. Not getting any sort of aromatics from the beer used. But let's see what it tastes like. I mean, as soon as you bite into it, you're getting the onion. I'd be very hard pressed to say, oh yeah, fruity, hoppy. I mean, I had that little thing about people who like make an excuse to do beer battered stuff. But beer batter always gives a good texture, doesn't it? But these, I'm not even like getting a vague beery flavour to them. I like it when they break up like that. Now, you could have just presented them to me and I would never have guessed that not only would they not be beer batter, but used with a hoppy beer. As an onion ring, absolutely fine. Does its job. Nice oniony flavour. The batter's nice and light. It's crisp. Might be a little bit too crisp because I've overdone them slightly. But maybe there's a little bit of an aftertaste of like maltiness. You know, sort of like when you get those Burt's Guinness flavoured crisps. I don't taste anything like Guinness, but you get that sort of like almost spent malt character to them, which you would get in like a bread where they've used grains from a nearby brewery, that sort of thing. So they're all right. Not the most flavoursome. The right amount of onion flavour. I think one thing that would definitely help these, and I think these sauces from Crucials should be a staple in everyone's fridge because they're dirt cheap and they're really good. And the yogurt and mint, I mean, this makes 90% of things much better. It's sort of like, I mean, we do Saturday night slice, don't we? Royal we. I'm involving you in this, so we. And yeah, Domino's, expensive, big chain. But their garlic and herb dip, I will tell you now, will never be replicated. There's a pretty stand-up job available now in Aldi, but it comes in a big, big tub. So unless you like using it on multiple things, I suppose it'd be a good dressing in like a chicken mayo sandwich or something like that. Or anything where you'd use mayonnaise, swap it out for that. Or unless you've got loads of pizzas, a big family, or if you're like me, a greedy bastard who could eat basically past until they're sick. Well, past them being sick. But anyway, let's see what our cheap garlic and herb or yogurt and herb dip will give. Almost looks like a savoury donut. Now with that, it's going to sound really weird, but you're almost getting more of a hoppy flavour from that than you are the onion rings themselves. It's so good, that sauce though. So, so good. Perfectly serviceable onion rings. Can't remember how much I paid for them. But I'd imagine it had been upwards of £2, something like that. Me personally, I don't have onion rings that often anyway. If they're in the house and I'm having something that would go well with onion rings, I'll have the onion rings. I very rarely order onion rings when I go out as a side. But for me personally, I just get cheap, like, stores home brand onion rings. Thankfully these, even though they are proper ringlets of onion, I don't have that issue of biting into it and then the whole onion comes out in that bite, which just, I don't know, it's not disgusting, but it disgusts me. And we all know that my opinion is the be all and end all. They're going down a treat then. I don't think you can go wrong with onion rings 9 times out of 10. They'd have to be really badly cooked, or oily as hell, or just extremely low quality for you to not enjoy them. I'm not one of these people who likes onion rings on a burger. I don't know what as much as I love hash browns, don't know what the obsession is with having hash browns on a burger. It just makes it much more stodgier than it needs to be. I've had much worse, but I don't think I'd go out my way to buy more. And to be honest, you could easily make your own. I mean, one onion is going to yield you an amazing amount of onion rings. Make yourself a really simple beer batter, or doesn't have to be beer, could be sparkling water. Or other types of batter are available if you want to change it up a bit. But yeah, not bad. Glad I tried them. They never seem to have, I'm sure they do chicken wings. I'm always interested by beer glazed or like beer brined meats. But yeah, worth a go, but I don't think they're amazing. They're not awful, they're not amazing, but you could get much cheaper, bigger bags of onion rings, and you're going to be happy. So yeah. So that was another episode of Clueless Eats. What an anticlimactic, thank you, anticlimactic video this was. 13 minutes of your life you're never going to get back. But yeah, I thought I'd seize the opportunity. Just shot a beer review. Feeling a little bit peckish. Put them in and then get content from this as well. Not that me making content has given me any sort of semblance of income, but it is what it is. Anyway, if you tried them, let me know your thoughts, opinions down below. And yeah, cheers for watching. You all take care, stay safe. I'm very surprised my phone's last this long since it's been on like 2% for 10 minutes. Cheers.